Hey everyone, today I want to talk about this book called The Psychology of Money that came out last month. It was a fantastic book, also very pleasant to read because of the very short chapters that are jam-packed with information. Anthony Pompliano, who I've talked about several times on this channel, recently interviewed Morgan Housel on episode number 374 of his podcast. The biggest threat to building long-term wealth isn't a lack of technical knowledge or investment skills, it's our own psychology. People with no financial background can achieve better results than those with a financial background and can become very smart about their finances by educating themselves here on YouTube or Twitter and following some easy principles. Here we have two individuals, Ronald Reed and Richard Foscone. One of them was a janitor/car mechanic for all his life. The other was an Ivy League financial expert. One of them was patient, one of them was greedy. One of them died with $8 million, the other one was forced to sell all his belongings. Guess who is who? Exactly. Ronald Reed worked as a gas station attendant and janitor, which was his only source of income. In theory, if we assume Mr. Reed made an average salary of $29,000 per year, after he worked for 42 years, he would have made $1.2 million. Assuming he needed around 20% of his money to live, because he was a very frugal person, that would leave him with $970,000 at the end of his lifetime. Already a respectable sum of money, but what about the remaining 7.3 million? Almost 90% of the money is missing. For all his life, instead of letting his money depreciate in value on a bank account, he invested in blue chip companies that he knew and understood, including Procter & Gamble, JP Morgan Chase, General Electric, and the Dow Chemical Company. Over decades, this money compounded to $8 million, while 50 to 75% of the population, depending on the country, give up 90% of what they could own so that they can store it at the friendly bank nearby. That's all it took to eclipse a massive education gap with several hundreds of thousands of dollars and long years of experience in the financial markets. Now, the book doesn't advocate to be like Mr. Reed, but there is a lot of great advice on the art of investing. Now let's look at all the facets of why and how a little human psychology can humiliate multiple 100K worth of Ivy League education. The only thing that's certain in investing is the compounding effect. It's one of the very few scientific rules that you can count on when you invest your money. The rest is basically random noise driven by the cumulative psychological states of all market participants, all having different backgrounds and intentions with their positions. If you don't know what the compounding effect is, in short, it's a rule of nature. If a value increases by a certain percentage each year, then next year the value plus by how much it increased will increase by said percentage. And this again and again. Just like a marginally colder summer due to an incremental change of the Earth's orientation towards the sun leads to just a small layer of snow more, making it through summer, increasing the insulation of the layers underneath. Repeating year over year over a long period of time leads to the formation of continental ice sheets, resulting in a global ice age. This kind of mathematical observation is described by this exponential equation. Mr. Reed, who died with a net worth of $8 million, wasn't an Ivy League financial executive or anything. So the number rule of the book should be invest your money, don't keep it in the bank account. And if you do, there's only one thing that you can really count on, the compounding effect. The story of Ronald Reed is the story of a man who understood what it means to be humble, to live below his means, quietly building a fortune which he donated at the end of his life to his community, leaving a bigger impact than most of us do. The story proves that you don't need to be a financial genius to win at this game. Knowledge doesn't seem to play an important role compared to your own psychology, which this book nicely illustrates. Let's see why this is and what you need to watch out for. Apart from the compounding effect, the only aspect you have total control over is your savings rate. Of course, for the compounding effect to work, you need to save money. The more you save, the faster the compounding wave will carry you to your financial goals, even though it's far less significant than the time you remain invested. Warren Buffett made 81 of his 84 billion after his 65th birthday. However, it's the second most important metric that you actually have control over. The most important reason to save money is to gain control over your time. Many people that don't save money argue that they want to enjoy life today because everything could change tomorrow. Yet money is one of, if not the biggest source of stress for most people. Life being full of surprises is an argument in favor of saving money. The greatest benefit of saving money isn't that you will be able to buy fancy things and live an extravagant lifestyle. This is actually the best way to reverse the process of becoming wealthy. When I see somebody flashing their expensive watch and Lamborghini, rather than admiring how rich this person is, I imagine how much money is missing in their bank account. Some people might have a big cash flow that's not impressed by such a purchase, but for most people it is just very bad money management, and many of them won't be wealthy for a long time. There's only one way of staying wealthy: a mix of frugality and paranoia. The greatest dividend that money pays is actually the freedom it confers to do what you want with who you want for as long as you want. It enables you to change the course of your life on your own terms rather than be forced to take the first job that presents itself after you lost yours. Most people spend over 80,000 hours working, so it's kind of a big deal. It enables you to always be one step ahead of whatever bad things happen over the course of your life. Giving that up for the very improbable chance of dying tomorrow carries a very high risk with only a very small reward. Now let's say we agree that buying more doesn't equal being happier, compared to the peace of mind you have when you know that nothing in life can threaten your existence. But isn't putting your money into the market even riskier than not saving any money at all? No, it's not, if you don't let your psychology ruin it for you. To understand what is going on in the markets, it makes much more sense to investigate daily price action through the lens of a psychologist rather than an economist. At the same time, long-term investors and short-term traders are buying and selling shares of the same company. The latter might not even know what said company does. The rules governing long-term investing, particularly around valuation, are ignored because they are irrelevant to the game being played. Buying a certain stock at an inflated valuation might make total sense for day traders who are willing to sell that very same evening, whereas long-term investors significantly reduce their return on such purchases. Two players play a different game on the same playground with different set of rules. It's very easy to get carried away by fear or greed. Investing is no get-rich-quick solution. Actually, nothing is, however easy people are trying to sell it to be. In the big picture, no financial crisis where newspapers predicted that the world would actually end the way we know it should pose any threat to your long-term strategy. Again, let's look at Warren Buffett. He was invested through the Great Depression, World War II, the Great Financial Crisis, and still his fortune is unfathomable. Better yet, all these economic downturns look completely insignificant over his investing career. Imagine being invested in the S&P 500 here and reading the cover story of the Wall Street Journal at the end of 2008. A Russian professor predicted the breakup of the US into different parts that would be annexed by Europe, Russia, and Japan. It seems that in the best case scenario, you would lose all your money. But that's the opposite of what actually happened. Not letting psychology ruin your investment returns means not giving a damn about what doom prophets or the daily noise in the newspaper says. There are two reasons why they do it. Neither of them is caring about your financial success. Number one, predicting the end of the world as we know it sounds a lot smarter and the stories sell a lot better to a scared population than being optimistic about the situation. Imagine an article following the bombing of Japan in World War II and the horrific famine that followed, predicting that the economy is about to grow 15x. Other countries will try to copy Japan's economic models and technological insights and so on. This author would have been laughed out of the room, but he would have been dead right, in contrast to the Russian professor. Reason number two is the big picture. The majority of people don't get up in the morning trying to make the world a worse place. The majority get up in the morning to drive innovation, making the world a more secure place, more efficiently using resources and building a wealthier society. I wouldn't bet against this remarkable force summed up over almost 8 billion people. Okay, so now nothing could ever scare you not to invest your money. or to sell your stocks if times get rough. The only other threat to your savings is greed. The market moves up and down in cycles that can last several years. It doesn't take a genius to make impressive gains if the trend moves up in your favor. Charlie Munger is famously quoted saying, "Invert, always invert." It means that whatever happens in the market, always question why you could be wrong. Just as we discussed before, that nothing is ever as bad as it seems, nothing is as good as it looks either. Don't chase excellency, aim to avoid stupidity. This is a quote from Charlie Munger. He said this principle made his life successful. Okay, those were big proverbs that sound great, but usually have very few practical significance for your investments today. But here's my take on this. Either you invest in global ETFs with a savings rate that is manageable for you, always having an emergency fund that lets you sleep well at night because you know that over your long-term horizon, market downturns will be insignificant and you will end up with a lot of compounded savings that returned an average of 5 to 8% year over year. Or when you buy individual stocks and other assets, don't put too much money in only one asset sector or company. You think it's an amazing company, but you always ask yourself, what could go wrong? So you keep it at a certain percentage. When things get rough, you won't sell because you have chosen that company for a reason. You should keep investing because now you actually get more of that company for less money. Things that have never happened before happen all the time. In a game with almost 8 billion other people and infinite moving parts. You know that to get ahead in life, taking risks is essential, but you will never risk so much that your existence is on the line. For compounding to develop its full potential, you need to still be playing the game. So getting wiped out by taking on leverage and not having enough money to withstand emergencies is out of the question, because it prevents you from taking on future risks. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please leave a like and consider to subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. Thanks.